Hello, and welcome to this week's Letter to Past Self. So, for this week, we're going to be discussing about level design, understanding views about the game, what's appropriate when working on, and objective sentences. So, let me get into level design real quick. So, for level design in for the game Fighting for Kindness, we don't have a title as of yet. We believe that we're going to design the levels to be more of an enclosed space so that we can have minimum amount of text and not a massive amount of area to explore. We want our players to be focusing on direct narrative. So when I was designing these levels and majority of them were building ones, I was trying to narrow down and focus on designing them with this mindset. I used a lot of walls and stuff, and I made sure when I was drawing them to give spacing to how thick the wall space is. The only thing that I didn't do was to write proper measurements, which didn't help when giving these to Kirby, and he didn't particularly produce the right amount of size, and I also didn't draw windows in, which is my fault. What I kind of learned the most from this was the fact that using my skills in high school of graphics kind of really helped when designing these levels because I know how to properly draw garage doors, how doors and stuff, when how to place doorway entrances and how they swing, and how thick walls could be, such as the fact that walls on the outside of the house are usually thicker than the walls inside and use plastering and stuff. I also know when I was using this to design the house for where the main player is going to be is understanding plot measurements, such as it is legal to use to build 6 meters from your property, and yeah, those were facts that really helped and made it feel more authentic when designing the levels on paper. So, as well as the next thing that I want to talk about is understanding others' view of the game. One thing that kind of became prevalent to me when I was doing this was the fact of reading what other people were thinking of the game was, and us not having a clear idea of what exactly it is. We would spend most of our time arguing the fact that when one person would write something that it wasn't the same as everyone else's idea, and we were very confused on how to work this out. That really backpedaled when writing the narrative doc. So our teachers felt that we needed to write an objective sentence to clarify what our ideas are. So we asked us to take a look and think about what we think the game is and write it in one sentence. I don't exactly remember what I wrote, but it was on the lines of it's about the bond and the relationship between the parent and child and understanding that you're not going to make it through. Mostly is what I thought the objective sentence was going to be about for my part is a clear narrative into the fact that the parent and the child's relationship is key to everything, and the fact that the parent is completely understanding that they have a very low chance of surviving this because of the disease of Alzheimer's and stuff. I wanted this to be key when writing the thing. Everyone else wrote other great examples, such as the understanding of the harsh terrain and using the wintry elements to put into this, as well as the reminding of lessons, because we felt that was another key thing. So, objective sentence that we all agreed and decided on with the help of our lecturers was navigating a world of environment collapse. A parent steadily succumbs to Alzheimer's attempt to prepare their child to endure an uncertain life without them. This was agreed upon all of us and really felt and kicked into what we want to do with this game. If it's both with the brief of fighting for kindness, where we want to build upon hope, and the ideas of hope punk, the fact that we want our game to end with an uplifting spirit, and well, not uplifting spirit, but more of the fact that this child is now receiving hope from the parent, and the parent has hope that they will be able to live. It also goes into more subtle things and more underlying things, such as the environment and how the fact that, like, we the environment is the reason why the parent is not going to be making through this, and that's why the parent needs to teach the child on why they're learning. It helps us to think about when we're writing or even designing levels, that we have to think back to this objective sentence and think, does it fit with our objective sentence? And if it doesn't, we need to change this. Hmm. So this gets me to my next point, in which what is appropriate to be doing while working on a game. I felt that when I was working on the game, I would read some of what Ava has written and felt that it was very over dramatized. Not saying that I didn't like it, but I felt that it wasn't adding towards the narrative. This was happening before we figured out our objective sentence, and that we needed to have a clearer idea of exactly what was going to be. I talked with everyone and was asking questions about one particular past memory that was written, and I felt, and some of the other people in my group felt, that it was over dramatized, and we talked and discussed about it, and I thought, I can't confirm, that we decided that we weren't going to use it anymore, so I deleted it, thinking that everyone agreed upon. Go in the next day of class for everyone to get very mad at me for deleting it and saying that I didn't have the authority, but that's not the point. It made me learn the fact that I can't just be deleting work or removing it just because I personally feel that it doesn't work into the story. I need confirmation and understanding from everybody that we felt that this wasn't a part or appropriate towards the narrative of the game. So for that, it it gave me a clearer and better understanding that I needed from this point to work a lot better and a lot well with our teams. There was a lot of highs this week in which I was able to complete all of my level designs, but a lot of lows when it comes to effectively communicating to my team about my particular views as well as understanding their views, because I failed to understand their views, and that caused our narrative doc, which we were hoping to get done by Thursday, not to be done. Yeah, this week was a learning curve for me in understanding the fact that just because it's my idea doesn't mean it's the only idea. My ideas are not finite and stuff. Hopefully by next week we'll be having all the levels, or at least two of them, to be implemented into into the game, so that we can start playtesting and understanding the loop. We have two memories and two present areas fully written, in which case we just need to either have Aaron review it or have ourselves review it and just put them into the game, and that's what I'll be doing over the weekend. Thank you for listening, and I will see you guys next week for another letter to past self.